If you get to keep what you give was a planet, then it would definitely be Saturn. Saturn is a planet of lessons and karma, just to name a few of its significations. And in this video, I will go over what Saturn represents in astrology and how to tap into this energy so that you can create a more fulfilling and successful life for yourself. If you are new to me, to my page, to the channel, to any of my content in social media land, my name is Katrice and I am the Natal Chart Navigator, and I educate open-minded, ambitious professional women on how to tap into their natal energies for self-improvement and prosperity. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. This is the next video in the planet playlist, and we're talking about Saturn. And Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun and is the second largest planet in the solar system after Jupiter. Okay, now it's the planet, the energy of this planet is the hard knocks and challenges, but it's also energy of rewards once you overcome those challenges. Okay, and so when Saturn is well aspected in a chart, it can indicate a person who is disciplined, who's responsible, and hardworking. And they are likely to achieve success in life through hard work and perseverance. Okay, consistency is also really big here with Saturn. Okay, now when Saturn is poorly aspected, it can indicate someone who's inhibited, who's pessimistic, and fearful. And they may experience delays and obstacles within their life. Now, the sign in the house that Saturn occupies in your natal chart gives more information about the areas of life where you will be facing these challenges and lessons the most intensely. Okay, so an example is if Saturn is in your 10th house of career, then it may indicate that you may face challenges within your career path. Now, you may need to work harder than most to achieve success. Now, if Saturn is in the 4th house of home and family, it could indicate that you may face challenges within your family life. You may need to be more responsible and disciplined within the relationship with your family members. It can also indicate delays in purchasing a home or any type of real estate, because 4th house rules real estate as well. Okay. And so now any aspects that Saturn makes to other planets in the natal chart can also give more information about the challenges and lessons that the native will face. Okay, and so if you have, say, as Saturn in a square aspect to the sun, it may indicate that you will face challenges within your self-expression. You may need to learn to be more assertive and confident, or you may need to learn to be a little more lively. Okay, now if Saturn is in a trine aspect to the moon, that could indicate that you will have a strong support system from your family and friends, or it could be that you'll be more likely to overcome any challenges that you may face. Okay, and so overall, Saturn is a powerful planet that can teach many important lessons. And when we understand the significance of Saturn in the natal chart, then we can better prepare ourselves for the challenges and all the rewards that life has to offer. Okay, and so Saturn is the great malefic. Okay, but I want you to not think of it malefic as being bad, but just think of it as energy of growth, right? It's an energy that forces you, prompts you to grow. Okay. And now, before we go any further, if you have not grabbed your 3-step framework ebook, it is the exact 3 steps that I use to read and analyze, utilize my natal charts information. And so it's absolutely free, and so you can click the link. It'll be in the description of this video, and you can also go on the home page. It is the link is on the home page there. Okay, and so now Saturn rules time, Saturn is also the grandfather. It represents the grandfather, the teacher, and the protector. Saturn delivers important life lessons that so that we will not repeat the same patterns and fall into the same traps that we did in previous lifetimes. Okay? Procrastination or avoidance issues are also associated with Saturn. And Saturn is a transpersonal planet, meaning that it shows how you relate to the structures, control systems, and societal norms that are imposed upon us. Okay. Now, when Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius, okay, and so it is at home in those energies. So whenever Saturn is in Capricorn or Aquarius, it's at home. It rules the roost, right? And so when it is in the sign of Cancer and Leo, which are the opposite signs of Capricorn and Aquarius, then it is considered in detriment, meaning that it is not really able to be itself. It's kind of like being a guest in somebody's home, okay? Now, when it's in the sign of Libra, it is in its exaltation, meaning that it's kind of like it's on vacation and it can just do whatever it wants. It's like in paradise. And then when it's in the sign of Aries, which is the opposite sign of Libra, it is in its fall. And it's kind of like being in jail because it can't really express itself the way it naturally would in that energy. And so it's kind of like it's in jail. Okay. And so Saturn represents karma and shows us some of our deepest fears, especially as it relates to loss of control, irresponsibility, and hard work. Now, wherever Saturn falls in your chart, there's a sense of burden as we feel we must work harder than most to become successful in this area. Working on Saturn's lessons brings incredible rewards and a deep satisfaction and appreciation. Saturn teaches responsibility and delayed gratification. And Saturn's placement and aspects show you how well you deal with responsibility, whether or not you accept and create appropriate boundaries, and whether or not you are self-disciplined or require a little bit of a push from an outside authority. Okay. Now, Saturn with other planets teaches you to work within the limitation and confines of a certain structure, and it squeezes the essence out of any planet that it touches. Okay. And so Saturn in poor dignity can bring pessimism, negativity, loneliness, cynicism, coldness, and rigidity. Now, Saturn does rule the teeth, bones, and it co-rules the hair, skin, and nails with Venus. The prefrontal cortex is associated with Saturn as it doesn't fully mature until the first Saturn return, because Saturn rules aging and maturation. And so Saturn moves in 28 to 30 year cycles, transiting each sign for about 2 to 5 years. And important milestones for Saturn are the conjunction, which is your Saturn return, the square, and the opposition. Now, each will roughly occur between 7 to 7.5 years apart. Okay. All right. So, Saturn in astrology is the planet of discipline. Okay. But it's not just the planet of discipline, it's also the planet of responsibility and long-term goals. Okay. And so Saturn's lessons are not learned overnight. Okay. They take time, effort, and perseverance to master. Now, Saturn is often seen as a taskmaster, but its discipline is ultimately for our own good, and it teaches us the importance of consistent work, delayed gratification, and self-control. And it helps us to develop the maturity and resilience that we need in order to achieve our goals. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways in which Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, and our long-term goals. Okay, and so Saturn teaches us the importance of discipline because it requires us to be organized, efficient, and consistent. And it also helps us to resist the temptation and to stay focused upon our goals. Now, Saturn is also associated with responsibility. And so this teaches us the importance of taking ownership of our actions and fulfilling our obligations, and it helps us to become reliable, trustworthy individuals. And then Saturn is the planet of long-term goals, okay? Because it does rule aging. It also rules time, okay? And so it teaches us the importance of delayed gratification and working towards our goals one step at a time. And it helps us to develop the patience and perseverance that we need to achieve our dreams, okay? And so the lessons of Saturn, they're not easy lessons. Saturn's energy is not an easy energy, okay? But the reason that I love Saturn's energy is because Saturn's energy keeps us grounded. It keeps us focused here in the 3D and not so caught up on in the clouds, okay? There's nothing wrong with being in the clouds. You need to be in the clouds, but not live in the clouds. And so this is where Saturn comes in, and Saturn grounds us, and it keeps us in our 3D reality, okay? By learning to embrace Saturn's discipline, responsibility, and focus on long-term goals, we can create a more fulfilling and successful life for ourselves, okay? And so now let's jump into Saturn throughout the natal chart, like throughout the houses. Now, again, the houses are, the different areas of life. And I do have a houses playlist that you can watch. If you go, it's in the digital library section on the home page. If you go, there's a playlist that goes in depth in each house, okay? But here I'm just going to give a brief overview of how Saturn may manifest depending on the house that it's in, okay? And so if it's in the first house, then you may be somebody who you have a serious or reserved demeanor, and you may also have faced challenges in your early life that teach you the importance of self-discipline and responsibility. Now, if Saturn is in the second house, you may have financial challenges or difficulty accumulating wealth, and you may also have to work hard for the things that you have. If Saturn is in the third house, then you may have difficulty in communicating or learning. You may not be somebody that likes small talk, and you may also have to work hard to achieve your goals within that area of life, within your education. If you want to travel, you may not have been somebody who was like super duper popular. You might have just stayed to yourself if you have Saturn in the third house. Now, if you have Saturn in the fourth house, you may have had a difficult relationship with your parents, or you may have to work really hard to create a stable home environment. Now, if you have Saturn in the fifth house, you may have difficulty in love or have to work harder to achieve your creative goals. Now, fifth house also is the house of children, pregnancy, and so you may have, having Saturn here, there may be some restrictions or delays within you having children. Now, if Saturn is in your sixth house, then you may have health challenges or have to work harder to maintain your health. You may also have to work hard within your job or your daily routines. If Saturn is in the seventh house, then you may have difficulty in your relationships or finding a compatible partner. It may be delayed. Getting married or in a serious relationship, it may have been delayed for you, or you may marry someone who could be a lot older or more mature than you are. Now, if Saturn is in the eighth house, then you may have difficulty with emotional issues. It may be hard for you to be intimate with another. You may have financial issues within your partnership or marriage. This is the house of shared resources, and so if you are in a business, your business may not, the finances, it may not take off as quickly as you want, or there may be some type of, issue with it. Could be issues with the taxes, because the eighth house does represent taxes as well. Now, if Saturn is in the ninth house, then you may have to work harder to achieve your goals. You may have to deal with difficult travel experiences. Your beliefs. You may be very concrete on your beliefs, and it may really take you a while to really change your beliefs. Okay. If you have Saturn in the 10th house, then you may have difficulty in your career, or you may have issues with authority, or you may have to work really hard to achieve your personal and your professional goals, because that's the 10th house, your professional goals. Now, if Saturn is in the 11th house, then you may have difficulty in friendships, or have to work really hard to build strong friendships, or your networking efforts. You may have to work hard or network with a lot more people in order to get to where you're trying to get. Okay. And if Saturn is in the 12th house, then you may have to deal with hidden or karmic issues, or have to work really hard to overcome your fears. Now, those are just general significations. You definitely you have to look at the entire chart for a full picture. And again, if you have not grabbed the ebook, it gives the 3 steps on how to read and interpret your chart. Absolutely free, so you definitely want to get that. Okay. And so now I'm going to share some tips on how you can use this information to foster your own personal growth, set your own realistic goals, and to align more closely with your natal energies. Okay. And so by aligning with your natal chart, you can help you to better understand your strengths and your weaknesses, as well as the challenges and opportunities that are unique to you and your journey. Now, by working with Saturn's energy, you can use these insights to foster personal growth and to achieve your goals. And so here's some tips on how to do that. Okay. So the first thing is you want to learn about your Saturn's sign and the house. Okay. So your Saturn sign and house can indicate the areas of life where you will face the most challenges. And by understanding these areas, you can be more prepared to meet them head on. Okay. So you want to understand what Saturn represents, and you're doing that by watching this video. Then you want to go and look into the house where Saturn is in your chart, and understand that area of life. You can go check out the houses playlist, and then you want to look at the sign, because that is how Saturn's energy will be expressed through the sign. Okay. And once you understand that, the 3 of those components, then you can piece it together to understand your Saturn. Okay. You want to also tap into the transit energies. Every few years, Saturn's transits a different sign and house in your natal chart. And so these transits can bring challenges, but they can also be opportunities for growth. And so you want to pay attention to where your Saturn transits, and use that transit as a time to learn and grow about yourself. Okay. At the time of this recording, Saturn is currently in the sign of Pisces. And so for all of those who are born with Saturn in Pisces, you are in your Saturn return. And so this is a time where you want to really take a good hard look at your life, see what is going on, how can you level up, because Saturn's energy is a level up energy. Once you really tap into Saturn's energy and you learn the lesson, become consistent, stop procrastinating, all of the things, then you can really level up with Saturn's energy. Okay, and so you can also work with a professional astrologer or energy reader such as myself. And so if you're serious about really getting aligned with your natal energies, then you can book a session with me, 20-minute energy audit, where I kind of go in and give you the basics of your sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, chart ruler, and give you tips on how to utilize those energies in your 3D so that you can start getting more aligned with who you are. Okay. Now, using Saturn's energy to foster personal growth is not easy, but it is possible. And it is very rewarding. Okay. And so here's some additional tips that'll help you out. Okay. Wherever Saturn is, that will help you to identify your challenges. Okay. And so what are the areas of life where you are experiencing delays, restrictions, or obstacles? These are likely areas where Saturn is asking you to grow and learn. Setting realistic goals. Okay, Saturn is not an energy of quick fixes or easy solutions, and it's a planet of hard work and perseverance. And so when you're setting your goals, be realistic about what you can achieve. Break down your goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Okay, and it'll become a lot easier for you to hit your goals. Okay. Saturn's energy teaches us the importance of taking personal responsibility for our actions. And so when things go wrong, you don't blame others. Take responsibility for your own actions and learn from your mistakes. Okay? Patience is another thing that Saturn aligning with this energy will teach you. Because Saturn's lessons are not learned overnight, it takes time, consistency, and perseverance to achieve your goals. You got to be patient with yourself, not give up, and know that it's all going to work out. Okay. And then Saturn, the last thing is Saturn is what is it? The last thing? Okay. It's not the last thing. It's associated with work and discipline, and so you want to find work that is meaningful to you, that you're passionate about, because that way you'll be more likely to persevere through challenges and setbacks versus just doing something for the money. Okay. And then giving back to others, because Saturn is associated with karma. When you help others, you are not only making a difference in the world, but you are also creating positive karma for yourself. Okay. And this is you get to keep what you give energy. If you're giving out negativity, you get to keep that. And if you're giving out positivity and love, you get to keep that. And so whatever you give, you get to keep, right? And so that is all for this video on Saturn. I hope you found a value and insight. And if you did find this video useful, helpful, or insightful, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit as well. And so I invite you to actively engage with our cosmic conversation that we are having here at Understanding You University, because we dive deep here into aligning with your true nature and helping you on your personal odyssey of self-understanding and empowerment. Okay, and so I want you to embrace the opportunity to align your actions, decisions, and your life with the energies of the universe that are inside of you. Okay. And so for more insights or resources, or to book a reading, you can book my link tree. It is in the description. It'll be here in the description box. Okay. And until next time, remember that possibilities are endless. If you can see it in your mind, then you can definitely hold it in your hand, and that should make you smile, because you really do create your own reality. Have a good one.